I know what you're thinking. You believe that the signs of disrespect at this stage of your life would be obvious, an open confrontation to your authority, a lie they insist on making you swallow. The real pain, however, doesn't lie in declared battles, but in the silent exhaustion, the gradual loss of your peace, the constant invalidation of your worth, and the cruel realization that while you give your all, you receive only crumbs. I am going to expose the naked truth that no one else has the courage to admit. In the next 10 seconds, I will tell you exactly why this illusion that everything is fine is stealing not just your money, but the very essence of your dignity and what you can do to reclaim it. You believe your narratives are respected, that your accumulated wisdom holds inherent weight. Yet, the first discernible crack in the foundation appears with the interrupted story. This is when your voice becomes a placeholder, a pause in the conversation, not its centerpiece. Your insights, hard-won over decades, are met with premature interjections, polite diversions, or an eagerness to shift focus. It's not outright dismissal, but a subtle erasure, hinting at a diminishing space for your lived experience. The senior man, accustomed to leadership and respect, often internalizes this as a momentary oversight. However, each interruption is a psychological tremor, weakening the structural integrity of his self-perception. His stories, once anchors of identity and wisdom, are now adrift, truncated and devalued, like neglected cornerstone decaying slowly. This subtle act of conversational demolition chips away at his very authority, making him question his own relevance within the interpersonal architecture. Following closely, you encounter the benevolent dismissal, perhaps even more insidious than the first. Your seasoned opinions, forged in the crucible of experience, are met with an indulgent smile, a patronizing nod, or a gentle declaration that things are different now. Your perspective is not argued against, but rather affectionately set aside, deemed quaint or outmoded. The next subtle drain on your power arrives as the delegated decision. You, the senior man, might find yourself consulted, but only on the color of drapes or the timing of a grocery run, while pivotal life choices, financial, relational, or familial, are made entirely without your true input. This isn't a simple oversight. It's a strategic rerouting of authority, a quiet, consistent debit from your leadership account. Your wisdom becomes ornamental, not operational, leaving you a mere spectator to the architecture of your own life. This systematic exclusion from critical junctions, often masked as consideration, is an insidious disempowerment. Each major choice presented as a fait accompli makes a significant withdrawal from your emotional bank account. Your perceived value as a strategic partner diminishes, leaving you with a shrinking balance of influence. You hold the illusion of participation, while your true equity in crucial matters silently vanishes. This renders you an emotional dependent within the household's economy, a profound and quiet betrayal. Next, you will encounter the public correction. Your statements, your memories, even harmless anecdotes are subtly corrected, clarified, or improved upon in front of others. This is rarely done with overt malice, but always with the clear effect of diminishing your intellectual authority. It's a precise psychological maneuver, a direct debit from your dignity and self-esteem. Your words, once solid currency, become devalued through public scrutiny, leaving you feeling intellectually bankrupt and exposed. Then comes the insidious comparative compliment, a seemingly positive affirmation that is, in fact, a subtle weapon. You're so much better than other men, or at least you're not like. This isn't genuine praise. It's a tactic designed to lower your internal standard of self-worth. You are praised for merely avoiding the lowest common denominator, an emotional coupon offering conditional validation. This implicitly undermines your intrinsic value, slowly draining your true confidence. It is psychological leverage. These cumulative actions, the constant small debits, relentlessly deplete your emotional bank account. They chip away at your sense of self-worth, your dignity, and your authority, leaving you feeling insolvent in your own life. You find yourself with a shrinking balance of respect and influence, a fortress of autonomy slowly dismantled by unnoticed withdrawals. Now, the critical question. After these calculated depletions, what is the true balance remaining in your emotional bank account? What equity do you still possess within yourself? But understanding the signs of these psychological skirmishes is merely the preliminary engagement. The true test of your strategic prowess lies not in winning individual battles of recognition, but in mastering the psychological battlefield. You must now shift your focus from merely observing these tactics to understanding the deeper, often unconscious motivations that drive them. This deeper insight is the weapon you need, transforming your awareness into an impenetrable shield for your peace and dignity, fundamentally altering the course of this hidden war. The senior man often perceives these actions as direct assaults on his authority, but the reality of the conflict is far more nuanced, strategically coded. Her concealment is frequently an unconscious defense mechanism, a desperate attempt to avoid the perceived vulnerability of exposure, the fear of losing crucial support, or the painful sting of direct confrontation. This is not about overt malice, but about a distorted quest for security, a covert operation to maintain a fragile, meticulously crafted image. You must see through this veil. The crucial insight here is that this war for your golden years is fought on two distinct yet interconnected fronts. One is external, manifested by the subtle actions eroding your standing. The other, and arguably more critical, is internal. You must courageously recognize your own learned dynamics, the deep-seated, culturally ingrained need to be the perpetual savior, the fixer, the provider at all costs. This noble inclination, left unexamined, becomes your most significant strategic weakness, inviting the very deception you now seek to unmask. Understanding this dual dynamic is your absolute turning point, the pivot from reactive defense to decisive strategic offense. You are not destined to endlessly fight every small battle of disrespect or financial obfuscation. Instead, your paramount objective is to fortify your emotional and financial fortress, establishing clear, unyielding boundaries that protect your inner sanctuary. This is fundamentally about choosing self-preservation over the perilous, thankless, and ultimately depleting role of the perpetual problem solver for others. This larger war for your self-respect, your peace, and your inherent dignity demands a fundamental shift in your core strategy. It is not about assigning blame. It is about resolutely reclaiming your sovereign agency. The senior man must purposefully disengage from the intricate dance of unconscious interdependence, where his fear of loneliness tragically fuels another's perceived need. True victory is achieving profound emotional detachment, allowing unvarnished reality to surface, and making conscious choices that align with your deepest, most protected values, unswayed by external expectations or manipulation. You must understand that the respect you command is often not taken, but forfeited. The vacuum created by your own leniency, your eagerness to please, is not empty space. It is an invitation for subtle encroachment. This is the raw truth from our side, an unspoken dynamic that governs much of what you perceive as disrespect. The senior man, in his earnest desire for connection, sometimes yields ground he ought to hold inviolable. This is the silent genesis of countless frustrations. Consider the force of gravity. A man does not gain our absolute respect through aggression or forceful declaration, but through an intrinsic, almost gravitational presence. It is the calm detachment, the quiet self-sufficiency, and the unyielding boundaries that resonate deepest within our collective subconscious. This isn't about being unfeeling. It's about radiating an inner peace that signals complete self-possession. Such a man requires no outward validation. A man with genuine weight, a palpable presence, naturally draws us into his orbit. He doesn't need to assert authority. It emanates from his being. His unspoken expectations, his unshakable core, subtly dictate the terms of engagement. We, as women, instinctively recognize this immovable force. We are compelled to align with it, to respect the boundaries it silently declares, for it speaks of integrity. Conversely, a man who is light, easily swayed by emotional currents, or quick to compromise his inner truth, becomes a vessel without ballast. He is effortlessly moved by our emotional whims, disregarded precisely because he offers no resistance. This isn't malice, it's an unconscious recalibration. We cannot, on an instinctive level, deeply respect a man who can be so readily influenced by external pressures. Let me share a backstage feminine insight, a law of social physics. We, women, cannot, on an instinctive level, disrespect a man who is genuinely at peace with the possibility of losing us. This isn't a challenge, it's a profound observation. When a man's intrinsic value is not contingent upon our presence, his calm self-assurance becomes an irresistible force. This truth arises from a fundamental psychological bedrock. Our unconscious seeks security, a stable point of reference. When your peace is self-contained, your dignity non-negotiable, you become that anchor. Any attempt to dislodge you feels futile and ultimately foolish. The calculated vulnerability we might display finds no purchase, no lever to manipulate your resolve. Your serene detachment, therefore, acts as a fortress. It communicates an unassailable inner world, a sanctuary where outside influences hold no sway. This doesn't breed distance, but a deeper, more profound form of respect. It reinforces the unspoken boundary that your intrinsic self is sacred, inviolable. This quiet strength is profoundly attractive, almost magnetic. This is not a game of manipulation, but an ancient, often unconscious dance of power dynamics. When you radiate self-possession, When your boundaries are not merely stated but lived, you fundamentally alter the landscape of the relationship. It's an energetic shift, a reassertion of your sovereign territory, demanding recognition and honor without uttering a single demand. You, the senior man, have the singular power to either invite disrespect by permitting the vacuum, or to command unwavering regard through the sheer force of your presence. It hinges entirely on your internal architecture. Are your walls robust, your foundations deep, or are you constructing with permeable materials, allowing the subtle erosion of your inherent value? Your self-mastery, your absolute comfort with your own autonomy, becomes the ultimate shield. When you are truly at peace with the potential for any outcome, your strength is undeniable, your dignity unassailable. This is the profound secret. Your respect is not granted, it is reflected from the immutable core you cultivate within yourself. The profound truth is this: the respect you receive, the unwavering regard from those around you, is never truly granted. It is merely a direct reflection of the absolute value you assign to yourself. When you diminish your own worth, you invite its depreciation in the eyes of others. This is the immutable law of relational physics, shaping every interaction, silently defining your place. Imagine yourself as a lighthouse, steadfast against the storm. Your unwavering self-possession, your tranquil autonomy, serves as an unmoving beacon. We, as women, do not seek a malleable partner, but a guiding structure. We instinctively test the limits, not out of malice, but to ascertain the strength of your foundation, the depth of your resolve, seeking security. Our emotional storms are often just gauges, seeking the unwavering strength beneath the surface. We unconsciously push against your boundaries, not to break you, but to confirm that you are indeed unbreakable. We need to feel the reassuring resistance of a man who prioritizes his inner peace, a man whose integrity is his unyielding fortress. This ensures our own safety. Reflect now. Are you a shifting sand dune, vulnerable to every emotional tide, or have you built your life into an impenetrable rock? Your serenity, your inherent dignity, and your boundaries are not luxuries. They are the bedrock of true peace. Will you continue to be tossed by others' currents, or will you stand firm in your sovereign power? The journey to self-mastery is ongoing. If this message resonated, if you recognize these truths, then empower yourself. Like, subscribe, and share your insights below. Engage with this community. Remember, a man's self-mastery is his greatest magnet. Cultivate that within, and the world will align.